What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with NIO and the overall market. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. So the overall market saw a bit of downside, and NIO did also come down just a little bit, but we're holding support at this $7 area. We need to lose $7 to start dipping a lot lower, and as long as you hold this, we could be looking for a nice bounce right back up. So looking at the data for tomorrow is going to be Wednesday, November 5th. Keep in mind that at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the S&P Global Composite PMI and Services PMI data. And then we also have the ISM Services PMI, Business Activity, Employment, New Orders, and Prices also coming out 30 minutes after the stock market opens. And I think it's very important to remember that this is what will likely cause some volatility. So that's the data coming out for tomorrow. So expect a big move. As far as NIO goes, on November 5th, 2025, the 8th China International Import Expo will open in Shanghai. And NIO has been once again designated as a proud mobility partner. So that's some good news for them, alongside the fact that their overall sales were doing very well for the month of October. So the share price is still holding up decently. Some more news came out that AMD had its earnings. Overall, I would argue that they had decent earnings. They just barely beat on EPS, but it wasn't really enough to get the share price to jump too much, which is why the share price is still down. And Supermicro ended up missing on its earnings, which is why the share price is down. However, when it comes to its outlook, the outlook is still decent despite the share price dropping. So AMD is dropping, so is Supermicro after earnings. Tomorrow we do have McDonald's and a few more, but as of right now, with the market dipping, we're going to be watching to see how well NIO holds $7. It could be dipping a bit more for that target before it attempts to bounce. Now, SPY and the QQQ are still looking kind of weak here, but I just want to mention that with AMD dipping, it's possible we try to come back down to fill this gap. We're very close to filling it. And then I'm going to be watching to see if we could base right over here near 672 to 675. If we lose 672, we're looking for 670, then 665 as our potential targets. But I'm hoping that we don't drop that much and we actually try to hold 672. And if we get a bounce with the data tomorrow, we could be looking for a move back up towards this gap fill back up here. So there could be a bounce coming. A dip in a bounce is very likely. On the QQQ, we're going to be watching to see how well we hold at this, the gap fill. So we're very close to filling the gap at 617 as we predicted. I'm going to be watching to see if we bounce off that. We do have another gap above back to 629. So there could be a temporary bounce coming if we end up holding. On the IWM, we're barely holding 241. We have to hold this or else we're dipping to 238. We're going to see if it holds this support and might dip to 238 first before it tries to bounce. On ES, we're dipping. We're going to see if 6,800 holds or not. We're testing resistance becoming supports, and we'll see if we bounce or not. And then on NQ, we actually filled the gap on NQ, so that's a sign that we might be bouncing soon. Bitcoin has been dipping to about 110,000 or a little bit under that, and it's trying to bounce. So hopefully it tries to bounce at 100,000 for some upside. Tesla's dipping here, but we're at support where this trend line is. We're just a little bit below it. We're going to see if we get bought back up tomorrow to reclaim this trend line. If we lose 440, we're dumping to fill the gap to 433. But if we hold this, we could be looking for a bounce right back up. On Nvda, we have support down here at 196. We're going to see if this holds or not. Otherwise, it's favoring some downside. On Aapl, we're trying to bounce back up towards this 275 area, and we'll see what happens. AMD is dipping. We're down 2.34%, and we could continue to fall. On other tickers, such as Palantir, we're also rejecting. Could be dipping back down towards 180, and we'll see what happens. Coinbase is also dipping right here. We have support to watch for at the low 300s, and hopefully it tries to bounce. Amazon's at 249. It could dip a little bit more for like 245 before it tries to bounce. Meta has been dumping without any kind of bounce. We're watching to see if this is about to form some sort of like wedge. So this could actually attempt to bounce once the wedge completes. So we'll see if that ends up being the case or not. And if so, we could be looking for a move back up to 650. Google is dipping right here. We have 274 as our support, and Microsoft basically has 515 and 522 as our resistances. Could be looking for a small bounce. The VIX pumped quite a bit, and then it started to reject. We're going to see if the VIX is about to reject now or not. It could come down a bit if the market tries to bounce, so we'll see how it goes. There might be a bit more downside for the markets before we try to see some kind of bounce move. That's very likely unless we hold support. As far as NIO goes, we're going to be watching $7 to be tested, and we'll see if we bounce off that or not. With that being said, guys, I'm going to keep this video kind of short and simple. I thank you all so much for listening, and peace out.